to the Lantern Stories. Light your lantern, and let's discover today's magical story.
Another peaceful morning began inside the magical refrigerator as soft icy blue light spread across every sparkling shelf. Tiny magical snowflakes floated gently through the cool air while every food friend happily started a brand new day. Milky, the tall crystal-clear glass bottle filled with creamy white milk, smiled warmly as he greeted everyone. Apple bounced happily around the fruit basket. Berry giggled while playing with the Icey Twins. Eggy carefully arranged the egg carton, and Butter stretched lazily before sitting comfortably on his favorite butter tray. Only one friend was nowhere to be seen. Cheesy, the cheerful golden cheese wedge with tiny round holes, sparkling hazel eyes, rosy cheeks, a bright red bow tie, tiny white gloves, and little yellow shoes, was quietly working inside a tiny corner of the fridge. Around him were small, shiny bottle caps, colorful drinking straws, tiny ice crystals, sparkling fruit seeds, and little silver spoons. Cheesy loved building funny little inventions that made everyone smile. Today, he had an exciting new idea. He wanted to build the very first bubble machine inside the magical refrigerator. Cheesy carefully connected colorful straws, polished the tiny silver spoon, added glowing ice crystals, and placed sparkling fruit seeds into a tiny spinning wheel. His little machine looked amazing. Tiny blue lights blinked on and off, while a small crystal fan slowly began to turn. Cheesy smiled proudly. He was certain his invention would fill the refrigerator with beautiful floating bubbles that would make every friend laugh. Just then, Apple, Berry, Eggy, Milky, Butter, Juicy, and the playful Icey Twins gathered around the little machine with curious eyes. Everyone wanted to see Cheesy's newest invention in action. Cheesy took a deep breath. He gently pressed the shiny blue start button. For one quiet second, nothing happened. Then suddenly, the tiny machine began shaking. The little fan spun faster and faster. Bright blue lights flashed everywhere. The machine started making strange whistling sounds. Tiny bubbles appeared, then hundreds more, then thousands. Within seconds, colorful, magical bubbles burst out in every direction, floating across every shelf of the refrigerator. The friends stared in complete surprise as the entire magical fridge slowly disappeared behind a giant, sparkling cloud of bubbles. No one knew how they were going to stop the bubble machine.
The magical refrigerator was soon filled from top to bottom with thousands of colorful shimmering bubbles. Some were tiny like marbles, while others were so big that they gently floated around the shelves. Milky could barely see through the sparkling bubble cloud. Apple bounced carefully from one clear spot to another, trying not to bump into the floating bubbles. Berry giggled for a moment as one bubble lifted her gently into the air, but soon everyone realized the bubbles just kept coming. The little bubble machine was still buzzing loudly. Its tiny crystal fan spun faster and faster, sending even more bubbles across the refrigerator. Eggy carefully looked at the machine and noticed that one colorful drinking straw had been connected the wrong way. Butter pointed toward the glowing blue button, while the playful Icey Twins quickly cleared a safe path by gently pushing bubbles aside with their tiny icy hands. Cheesy looked at his invention with worried eyes. He had worked so hard to build it, but now he understood that something had gone wrong because he had rushed and forgotten to check every part before turning it on. Taking a deep breath, Cheesy bravely walked toward the machine. Milky smiled kindly and stood beside him. The other friends gathered close, ready to help instead of blaming anyone. Together they carefully held the machine steady. Eggy gently turned the colorful straw into the correct position. Apple held the spinning wheel so it would slow down safely. Berry collected the loose glowing fruit seeds, while Butter carefully pressed the shiny blue stop button. At last, the crystal fan slowed down. The buzzing became quieter, and the endless stream of bubbles finally stopped. For a few moments, everyone stood silently. Then the last few bubbles floated gently toward the top of the refrigerator and disappeared with tiny, sparkling pops. The magical fridge became bright and peaceful once again. Cheesy lowered his head and softly apologized to all his friends. Milky placed a gentle hand on Cheesy's shoulder and reminded everyone that making mistakes is part of learning. The important thing is to admit the mistake, fix it, and try again with more care. Cheesy smiled happily, thanked his friends for helping him, and promised that next time he would test every part of his invention before pressing the start button. Soon the refrigerator was filled with laughter again. The bubble machine was safely repaired, And this time, Cheesy decided to use it only after everyone had checked it together. A few beautiful bubbles floated gently through the cool blue air, making everyone smile. Moral: every mistake is a chance to learn, improve, and do better next time.
Thanks for watching. Subscribe to the Lantern Stories, and we'll see you in the next magical adventure. Bye-bye.